everybody, this is Eric Warrior, and welcome to NetworkMarketingPro.com. I'm here again with Mr. Randy Gage. And Randy, the people who've watched the show, there's one of my favorite questions that I love to talk to top performers and ask them. And that is, was there a defining moment? I'm a big fan of defining moments. You know, that moment where something changed for you, something fundamentally. One moment you were one way, the next moment you were never going to be the same. Totally radically changed you. And I'm sure you've had dozens over the course of your career, but I'm also sure maybe one or two snapped into your brain as soon as I was saying that. What were some of those defining moments, and what did they mean for you?
Well, the first, I think we could go back and visit what we talked about on the show yesterday, which was when I had kept sponsoring these people. They kept dropping out. I was doing things that worked. They weren't duplicating. And I finally said, I've got to find a way to do this business in a way that the people I bring into the business can do the same thing.
No, I mean, that was kind of was there a moment when you just...
Yeah, I think it was the third month or the fourth month in a row that I literally sponsored 20 to 30 people. The first month I did, and sponsored 30 and 28 of them drop out. Right. So I say, they must be stupid, they must be ignorant, they must be lazy. I'll just replace them.
Some will, some won't. Next.
Right. So then I do it the next month. Again, 95% drop out. I say, well, those people are stupid, ignorant, lazy too. Well, by the third month or the fourth month, then I started to say, maybe I'm the stupid guy. Maybe I'm the ignorant guy. Right. I'm not lazy. I'm willing to work hard, but obviously this isn't working. I've got to change the strategy. So that was a defining moment for me. Right. And that's when I really started that passionate research into duplication.
Talk real quickly about the formula we talk about so much for duplication, for financial independence in our profession.
Yeah, very simple. 3 parts of the equation. Lead a large group of people to consistently do a few simple actions over a sustained period of time. So, of course,
it was the opposite of what you were doing those 3 months.
Absolute opposite. Because the first element is you need a large group of people, right? Because you need enough to have traction.
You have to lead them.
But the big thing, the meat of that sandwich, is few simple actions that could be duplicated by by that large group. And so we always want to get complex. We always want to think of this way or that way. And every little bit of complexity is like adding this yacht we're on. There was a seal down here earlier. If we go out a little bit, we'll see the whales. They get barnacles on them. And that slows down. It creates friction in the water. You want to be able to sail through the water smooth. So the more simple and elegant the system is, the faster, the smoother it's going to duplicate. And then, of course, for a sustained period of time. It's a 2 to 4 year plan, I think, to do the business. Mark Yarnell, who you had on a while back, and he talks about 5 years, and he's one of the brightest people in the space. So it does need that sustained period of time. So those 3 parts of the equation.
And let me ask you this. When you talk about doing a few simple things, trying to get a large group of people, instead of you being Superman, most people join this profession. If it is to be, it's up to me. They go crazy, and they're going to go take charge. Or they say, I'm just going to get a few people, and they're going to be ninjas. I'm going to train them like crazy. But then eventually, if they decide to go pro, they decide, okay, I've got to get a large group of people doing a few simple things. Give just a couple examples of what those few simple things would be. What's part of that?
Well, here's the broad-based philosophy. How do I automate? How do I systematize? And how do I make it scalable? So how could I put in 10 people in a week and get them trained? Well, it means we probably need some kind of a systematized get-started training. We probably need some kind of a mass market recruiting tool. So somebody could give that to a waitress, a flight attendant, some casual acquaintance.
Almost every company has.
Yeah. Then you need a warm market introductory tool. In other words, for people that you know, like as you know, we like home presentations. Right. And we've created a DVD, so it's a plug and play thing. Right. Well, that's a systematized thing. So that person doesn't have to know how to do a home presentation. They have to know how to put in a DVD and hit play. So the more components like that you can do, where it's third-party resources, it's institutionalized resources, it's conference calls, webcasts, websites, CDs, DVDs, magazines, brochures, other things that don't make it about you. It makes it about the opportunity and the products.
And I will tell you what the other thing I would add to that, because I know this is what you do. It's one thing to have those things. It's another thing to build a culture inside your organization that promotes those things. In other words, the ability to lead a large group of people to do those simple things over a consistent period of time, over a long period of time, that's the difference. It's not just that you have it, it's that you build it into your culture. All right, any other defining moments that kind of strike you?
Yeah. I had sponsored a guy long distance. I'd done some cold market stuff at that time. This is back in the 80s. So I sponsored the guy. He said, I think it was Indianapolis. When can you come here and do a meeting? I said, I could put 100 people in the room. You got to come here. So we set a date, 3 weeks out, 5 weeks out, whatever it was, that I was going to go there. So it's all set. I bought my plane tickets, everything, and then I call him up like 2 days, day before, and say, okay, how we doing? How many people we have invited? What do you think? What kind of room you got? And he said, oh, I've got a room that'll hold like 200 or 300 people. I don't remember the exact number, because I have put out like 10,000 flyers. I'm like, you mean flyers? Like, yeah. I said, oh yeah, like I'll go in a restaurant and I'll leave a stack of them on the cigarette machine and I put them on the bulletin board in the supermarket. And I'm like, well, what about your friends and your family and your relative, your neighbors, your people that, he said, oh, no. I've been in so many deals, I'm in the no friends left club. I've joined 20 deals that none of them work. So I can't go to anybody I know. I'm just, once I make money and I'm rich, then I'll go back to those people. So I'm like, you're telling me this whole meeting is counting on these flyers you put out? He said, yeah, but I did like 10,000. I went to so-and-so and printed, got the discount. And I said, listen, I want you to call the hotel right now. I want you to downsize that room, get the smallest available room they have. And, he thought I was crazy. I said, no, you got to do it. So he got a room. It probably held 40 or 50 people. Of course, he had 40 or 50 chairs set up. 7:30 it's supposed to start. Anyone watching, the story already. 7:29 p.m. There's not a person in the room.
But they're coming.
They're coming. He's going out checking the lobby. Maybe they can't find the room. Maybe there's an accident on the freeway, right? 7:32, I finally broke the news. Dude, there's nobody coming. My defining moment was, I said, I want you to sit down in this chair in the front row, and I'm going to do the meeting for you. Because you need to know how to do this meeting anyway. You need to learn this, and I'm here and you're here. We've got to get you trained. So I did the meeting for him, an audience of one. Didn't change the outcome. He dropped out 2 days later. But it didn't change the outcome for him, but it changed the outcome for me, because I knew if I didn't do that meeting, I would never do another.
You're so messed up.
Yeah. I just knew if I didn't, it's like getting back on that horse or whatever. I knew if I didn't do that meeting, I was never going to do another one. So I did that meeting for me.
Good for you. Good for you. All right. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got defining moments, please go ahead and post them in the comments section. I think we can all learn from each other. Learning about keeping going when other people don't, and you hit a wall. Everybody's had those meetings where you've had a no-show. You've driven across town, or you've flown across to some other city, and something doesn't happen. I have them all the time. The professionals keep moving. The professionals decide that they're going to go, and they're not going to be stopped. And coming up with a system, that formula for financial independence, so critical. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is part 3 of a 5-part series with Mr. Randy Gage. Until tomorrow, when we get to part 4, I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.